Hey folks, it's Gabe at Security.org, and today I want to talk to you about choosing a legitimate crypto exchange. You may be new to the crypto space. You know that you need to join a crypto exchange in order to buy and sell crypto, but you're not sure which one to pick. You're getting bombarded with ads, and you're saying, how do I know if any of these are just not going to run off with my cheddar? Well, that's what I'm here to talk to you about today. So in today's video, I'm going to go over things like reimbursement policies, identification verification, security procedures, so you get an idea of what should be present when you're looking at a legitimate crypto exchange. All right, so let's talk about what I believe is the most important of the elements when it comes to your exchange, and that is, what is the reimbursement policy? Because these things are under attack constantly. Nothing is perfect. No one is unhackable. And what you'll find is that even Crypto.com, Binance, and KuCoin, for example, have all had issues in the past, but it's really important how they respond. They reimburse their consumers, and that's what's really important in this sense. Reputable exchanges will have money set aside just for this purpose. For example, Binance calls it the Secure Asset Funds for Users, I think, or SAFU, and this is what they use. Is basically just liquidity that they can use to pay in the case of something like a hack. Additionally, they usually have some type of insurance for themselves in the case of something like this happens, so that they can help to replenish everyone's accounts. Now, of course, not all of them have been hacked. Just off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure Coinbase and Kraken haven't been hacked, but of course, we don't know everything happening behind the scenes. Now, to be clear, most funds for these exchanges are in cold wallets. They're not just on the exchange that can be taken at any point. They're usually stored on cold wallets, which is great, which is safe. And oftentimes those wallets have bank vault level security so that no one can get in there, take them. They're just safe. Just to be clear, a hot wallet is an account that is essentially attached to the internet. So we're talking about mobile device, web page, things of that nature. Whereas a cold wallet is something that is not connected to the internet. It's just in storage. In fact, Coinbase states that 98% of its funds are actually in a cold wallet. So only 2% is actually basically tradable in that very moment on Coinbase. Additionally, an exchange should have extra methods of security or extra layers of security. So of course you have your password and things of that nature, but you also want to make sure that they are incorporating things like two-factor authentication, also using like Google Authenticator. You're going to want those levels to be present and obvious because it means that they're more likely to be a legitimate exchange. Now I want to go over a few other security features that one should see when it comes to a crypto exchange. Now, this is by no means an exhaustive list, but this is stuff that pretty much anyone can look out for. Number one, they notify you by email when a withdrawal is made. Two, they delay a withdrawal if it is to an address you have never used before. Three, they block withdrawals whenever you reset your email or password. Four, they insure your cash accounts with a third party. 5, they use SSL HTTPS on all pages. 6, they use SQL injection filters to ensure no one is stealing data. 7, they store passwords as hashes instead of text. Now that's huge. That's a big deal right now, for example, just with like Apple and Android and what they're doing when it comes to messaging. And we even have a full video on cryptography that you can check out here. 8, they require employees with access to the database to encrypt their hard drives. Now that one's going to take a little bit more digging, but probably something you can figure out. All right, now that goes over the hard security elements of a crypto exchange and its legitimacy. Now let's talk about regulations and laws and how they affect crypto exchanges. Now, the number one thing is the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network has required many exchanges to have licenses since 2013. So really what we're going to be looking for in the first instance is whether or not they have a proper license. Just as a brief aside, you should understand that if you run an exchange without a license, if you need to be licensed, you risk jail time, fines, some pretty serious penalties. So of course, you're going to make sure that your exchange has a license, and you also want to make sure they have a license for your particular state. Now, we have a full page over at Security.org that is being constantly updated regarding the various states. And we do have a video, but of course, videos are a lot harder to update. Now, another thing that your exchange should do is an identity verification. So you're going to want to make sure that they know that you are who you say you are. If they're not doing that, they may have some other issues on the way. So for example, I typically have to take a picture of my passport, send that in, maybe give them some other information. Basically, they need to know where I live, at least citizenship wise, and sometimes they want to definitely have an address because you need to show that you're in the state in which you say you're working. So basically just overall identity verification is a positive, and it's something that you should be looking for in your crypto exchange. Now, this next one is something I do with a lot of businesses and companies, if I'm completely honest, but you should definitely do it with your crypto exchange. And that is making sure that their public facing address is real. You know, you want to know where they're located, who they are, what they're doing. For example, you can see right now, we're going to put it on the screen. This is like, Binance's address. So we know Binance is solid. We know Binance is real. We know this is their real address. We know this is their real office. So you want to see a public facing address, and you want to make sure that it's the real one. This plays directly into my next point, which is you also want public facing executives. I understand that we all deserve a certain degree of privacy, but when it comes to this level of money, you definitely want to know who the people are managing it. And that's why you want to know who the executives are for a company. So if we go in and we check, any of these major companies like Crypto.com, we should be able to know exactly who the CFO, the CTO, the CEO, all of these folks are, what they're doing. That is a big part of it, because otherwise it's easy to run away if maybe these elements are not clear. So you want to know that business, and you want to see who's behind that business. Now, there are a few factors other than legitimacy, of course, and you're going to look into when it comes to a coin exchange. And maybe I'll do some longer videos on this in the future. But you want to think about things like coin selection. For example, if you're just thinking buying like ETH and Bitcoin, you don't really have to, it doesn't matter. All of these are going to have those. You can buy that anywhere. But if you want to look at some, less popular coins where you don't have the largest market cap yet, then you're going to want to look at exchanges that actually give you tons of coins. I mean, some exchanges have over 9,000 coins available. Some just have 100 coins. Some have fewer than that. So you're going to want to look and see the coin selection you're looking for, and then maybe choose your exchange. Or maybe, you use multiple exchanges. I know I do. Now, you want to look at your fees. For example, if I go to like a Bank of America, I'm going to get a certain fee for, getting a physical check, versus if I go to, Regions Bank, I'm from the South, then they're going to charge me a certain amount to get a physical check. So that is the same when it comes to exchanges. They're all going to have different rates. And when you get into some of the more advanced elements of crypto, interest rates, lending, that's going to be a whole other thing. You have to do your research. But even from the crypto exchange perspective, you want to look at what are the fees depending on what you're kind of doing on the daily. Now, the final element I want to talk about when it comes to your exchange that's not necessarily about legitimacy is what does it take to deposit and withdraw. So are we talking about PayPal? Are we talking about ACH? Are we talking about credit cards? And how much is this going to cost you? How easy is it going to be to deposit money, withdraw money? How people are going to look at it? I mean, that is really important, I think, when it comes to choosing a legitimate exchange, and there are some differences between them. All right, folks, that's my look at choosing a legitimate crypto exchange or multiple exchanges. Now, if you appreciated today's video, please subscribe, comment, give us a like at the very least. We're trying to help folks when it comes to physical and digital security in today's modern world. My name is Gabe. This is Security.org. Be secure.